Hey ho, dear ones. Right now, a lot of entrepreneurs believe they need to master that algorithm to succeed. Or even if you don't feel like that's what you want to do, there's a piece inside of you, there's a nudge that's saying that's what you should be doing, that you should be posting constantly, building funnels, running ads. And when you can't keep up with all of that, you start to wonder if there's something wrong with you. But here's the real truth of it all. Those strategies actually work. Building funnels work when you get it to work after time, after trial and error. And I'm a funnels person, so I can tell you that sometimes it clicks right away and sometimes it takes time and money and effort, but they can work. Figuring out the algorithm and how to feed that in a way that it pushes your content out, that can work. Figuring out how to use Facebook ads effectively, that can work. However, a couple things on that. One, it can work in a way that it gets you attention, especially, I think, posting a lot of content and figuring out how to please the algorithm so it favors your content, that can get you attention and get you more followers. But none of that, none of those strategies, none of those business focus points is the same thing as alignment. And listen, dear ones, hear me now. Without alignment, the sales may indeed increase, but the joy will not follow. The transformation your clients experience will never reach its full potential if you are out of alignment. And the deeper mission that brought you into this work in the first place will never be truly alive if you're pushing yourself to follow strategies in your business that don't feel aligned. And we are truly entering a new era in the coaching and healing and entrepreneurial space, one where spiritual gifts become the real engine of authority, transformation, and long-term success that's fueled by joy. And here's the thing about being fueled by joy. If you want to gain mastery in anything in your business, whether it's serving your clients, whether it's posting Instagram reels or writing long form content on Substack, if you want to get really good at it, there's something that you need to do. We all need to do. And you need to do it over and over and over again. Because the trick to getting good at something is to first find your alignment first before you get into repetition, which indicates that you're spending a lot of time doing something. Find the alignment first. Okay? And your spiritual gifts will help you find your alignment. Once you have that, then you go into repetition. And it's the art of doing it again and again and again and again, just like an Olympic athlete, you know, watching the Olympics. I was so inspired by Alyssa Liu, who was the gold medalist in the last Winter Olympics for figure skating because of her story, how she quit figure skating when she was 16 because there was so much pressure to show up and perform every day and to maintain a certain diet and to maintain a certain weight. And she had so much pressure from her father. And she was doing something she loved and she was in the repetition of it to gain the mastery, but she had fallen out of alignment because of the external pressures. This is actually a really good example of this point. So at a certain point, she left figure skating altogether after being sort of a global phenomenon and winning world competitions at a very young age. And then at a certain point, she got the heart nudge. It was her higher self nudging her back, but nudging her back on her terms. And she said, it's going to be my music, my choreography, my diet, my body. I get to decide. And if I'm not having fun, and if I'm not experiencing joy, I'm not going to continue. So if dad, coaches, team, if you can support this, I come back. And they did support it. And look what happened. And if you haven't seen her routine, I don't know why it makes me just emotional because just Google it. Alyssa Liu, gold medal performance 2026 Winter Olympics, because here was a young woman just in the state of joy at performing something that doing a sport that was in complete alignment for her and in a way that was in complete alignment. And that's what we all need to be striving for in our businesses. And we all need to say to ourselves, I really believe this. I am the Olympic athlete of my business. I am disciplined. I show up. I do the repetitions. I do the practices. But I follow Alyssa Liu's example and I do it on my terms, with my diet, with my music, with my choreography, and ultimately my alignment. Because when you do that, you find the alignment, do the repetition, doing it over and over and over again. There's something that fuels that repetition. It fuels the repetition so that you don't burn out, so that you don't fall out of alignment, so that you can keep going again and again and again, even after you fall. And that thing is joy. Joy is the ingredient that will help you show up and do it again and again and again. Whatever it is you're trying to do in your business that you want to get really good at, whether it's sales or attracting clients or podcasting or Instagram reels or writing a book or writing on Substack. The thing that I've showed up most consistently for, hands down in my business, is my podcast. And maybe you could also say my email list, my mailing list are the two things that I show up for, rain or shine, in my business. And I've gotten better and better and better and better at those two things because I found my alignment, and my higher self always told me to prioritize the podcast and prioritize the mailing list over social media, over a blog back when blogging was popular, over Instagram reels. Now, higher self is also calling me now to Instagram reels, which I am doing and will do a lot more of, only because my higher self is calling me to it and I'm finding my alignment. And now that I'm getting the alignment to Instagram reels, now it's time to go into repetition. But I can't go into repetition until I find my joy, the way I want to do it. So is it walking in nature? Is it sitting behind my desk? And at this point in my journey, I would like to be out and about and doing different things for reels. But at this point, I just want to keep it as easy as possible. And the easiest thing for me is just right here where I'm sitting right now at my desk in my office, sitting behind my microphone. I use Descript software, which, the AI function on Descript has gotten so good. I can just ask AI to do everything for me. Easy peasy, lickety split. I have my assistant Callie schedule everything, so it's just easy for me. And at this point, if it's not easy, I'm probably not going to do it. So that's part of my joy, that it's easy. So I'm really excited to share that over the next few episodes, I'm going to be exploring what I call the spiritual gifts revolution in business. And it's specifically how we use our spiritual gifts tactically, strategically, with trust and surrender in our business to find our alignment, to decide where we want to gain mastery. And it's not just about gaining mastery over how you coach and how you heal. It's also gaining mastery over how you market and how you sell. Because listen to me, you can find joy and alignment in the sales and marketing process. I know that you weren't called to your business because you love sales and you love marketing. I think it's highly unlikely that that was the case. There might be a few of you out there with marketing backgrounds who was called to a business out of your love for marketing. But most of you had a love for service to clients, service to humanity, getting your message out in the world. I know I've talked to thousands of soul guided coaches, healers, and creatives. I am very familiar with what has drawn you to wanting to start a business, and it's not sales and marketing. And I promise you, that when you use your spiritual gifts in your business and when you find your alignment and your joy, you can find alignment and joy in both sales and marketing in a way that makes your business successful, that fills your offers with soul clients, that makes your business something you can depend on for income. You know, when you think about just using energy and intuition alone and just relying on manifestation and law of attraction, in a way, it's very disempowering. Like, I don't learn marketing and sales. I only rely on my alignment to my dreams and my spiritual gift of manifestation alone, nothing else. It gives a lot of your power away because you are just relying on energy and intuition. But let's say you really learn certain aspects of sales and marketing, the sales and marketing aspects that feel aligned and joyful for you. It gives you so much power over your ability to become an income generator no matter what's happening in the market. And if you need to pivot right or you need to pivot left, like we've had to do over the last how many years, and we will continue to have to do, if you have this mastery over these aspects of your business, you will be able to do that with so much greater ease and empowerment. And here's another thing I've really learned again and again and again in business: having followers, getting attention does not always equal a thriving business that's a consistent source of revenue. One of my previous coaches has, like, I think 700 followers on Facebook. He's not on Instagram. I don't know. He does not have a large social media following. I don't know the size of his mailing list, but he has a multi seven-figure business. I know many examples. And I also know examples of people with hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, and they're not making much money in their business. So the online world makes it look like success comes from visibility. If you can just grow an audience, master the algorithm, and get more eyes on your work, then the clients will follow. But that is not always the case. It can be the case, but I find that it's often not the case. You can increase your visibility and still struggle to create consistent clients because gaining attention is not the real foundation of a thriving coaching or healing business. transformation is. The transformation that you get your clients. That is the most powerful foundation. And that happens when your spiritual gifts are active and leading your work and leading the different ways in which you talk about and share and promote the transformation you get your clients. And that's all good marketing is. It's connecting you with your audience, enabling them to know, like, and trust you, and talking about and sharing and bringing to life the transformation you get your clients. And I feel so passionately about this. It is the exact reason that I created my signature certification program, Soul Blueprint. And this is what we focus on. Not just understanding your gifts, but activating them. So the way you serve clients creates deeper breakthroughs, stronger referrals, and a business that grows through alignment rather than constant visibility pressure. And in the social media age, I think this visibility pressure is going to get greater and greater and greater if we don't take control and say, I don't show up in my business from a place of pressure. I show up from a place of alignment. Because if you are running an aligned business, and that's what we all want, because remember, alignment equals joy. Non-aligned businesses equal forcing, burnout. What's the opposite of joy, right? Transformation is the real engine of business growth. It's always been that way, but it's going to be more and more that way if you want to grow an aligned business. And the businesses that grow aligned and sustainably are the ones where clients experience real breakthroughs. When someone works with you and their life truly shifts, they talk about it, they refer others, they stay with you longer, they come back for deeper work. This is how many of the most aligned coaching and healing businesses actually grow. Not just through visibility, but through transformation that spreads naturally through referrals and reputation. The deeper the transformation your work creates, the stronger and more sustainable your business becomes. And ultimately, the more aligned and joyful your business becomes. And to get there, it's your spiritual gifts that create that level of transformation. When your spiritual gifts are activated, you see what others miss. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your healing ability becomes more precise. Your ability to guide clients into breakthroughs deepens dramatically. This is what allows your work to create real transformation rather than surface level change. And the coaching industry is getting so sophisticated that surface level change is never going to sustain you. And when the level of transformation becomes consistent, your business naturally becomes more aligned, more trusted, and more sustainable. And again, this is exactly the work we focus on in Soul Blueprint. Activating your 5 spiritual gifts so coaches and healers can create deeper client breakthroughs and build businesses that grow through transformation rather than constant visibility pressure. My invitation for you this week is to find a quiet moment. Take your deep belly breaths, connect to your higher self, and ask, where in my business am I pushing myself to grow through visibility when what your higher self is really asking for is deeper transformation? Just notice what comes up for you Because when your spiritual gifts are activated and leading your work, the way you serve your clients changes. Your authority naturally grows and your business begins to expand through the transformation your work creates. And if any of this is resonating with you, you can explore Soul Blueprint through the link in the show notes. That's AllisonScammell.com/soul blueprint. All right, that's a wrap for this week. We will continue the conversation about the spiritual gifts revolution in business in next week's episode. And as always, until next time, may you be soul alive.